It's a permanent.
Okay. Hold on. Don't tell me to hold on.
Hold on. I love your blue shirts. I love that song. Very
This one needs starch.
it's soothing to my eyes and it's calming. Yes, I love it. It is. I love it.
Thought I could have an effect.
Yes.
Now we're good? All right, so thank you guys so much for joining us on this Thoughtful Thursday. We're coming back together here at the end of September. September's been a pretty fun month, right? Everybody's been excited. We had an equinox, we had a lunar eclipse, we had a ton of stuff going on. We had a lot of different things changing. Does everybody feel some of the change? Yes? Yes? It's been different, right? A little different. The sun's a little changed, right?
I feel it and I need it.
We had a thunderstorm. Rain actually does exist in Southern California for the first time in 100 years.
Sorry? I don't know. I don't listen to the words too much. I just go with the music. And the weather, I have to tell you, I have to interject. Jen is also, gifted, and she turns over gifts. But her gift is she can actually feel 12 hours before the earthquake occurs. And because I was cooking one time and then I said, I'm sorry, Jenny. And then I said, she said, oh, I'm feeling bleeding. And she said, no, it's not my cooking. And then, like, a couple of, 10 hours, like at 6 o'clock or 5, when that earthquake, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And then the following day, she fell sick again at a friend's house. And then there was another earthquake. And then she and I, we are, like the change of the weather. The high pressure and the low pressure. And she and I said, are we pregnant? We're getting headaches, we're nose bleeding. I was like, she also suggested that Shirley's like, oh Lord, I don't take this away. I am just,
Lots of different changes. Well, It's unique to me because what's so funny about living in a gifted place such as Southern California is that the weather doesn't change all that much in the middle of December. Sometimes we actually have sunny 90-degree Christmas Eves and beautiful weather right all the way through to March. And yet, the human body actually has to kind of go through seasons. It has to change around a little bit. It needs to experience some differences. So imagine that you're the person who is trying to get the most from your health and you really want to break open and feel the best you possibly can. You need to understand how there can be good changes and positive changes, and that when you start cycling your body, the ramifications are you'll really start to identify with the seasons. You'll really start to see that you start craving the right types of foods when the right types of foods are available. It's a pretty good indication that there's something positive surround you. Yeah, my sweet potato craving, just beginning. Exactly, that's the way it should be. It should be. And it's funny how, as we go through today, we're going to get into some details on what we've got coming up in October. Is actually a pretty interesting reset package that teaches a lot about seasonal eating, a lot about actually using some of the Raw Revelation products seasonally as well too, because certain ones actually have a pretty important function for our body. And they help prepare us in ways that we normally can't get if we're just using the ordinary kitchen spice rack or the foods we're finding in the grocery store. If you're inside a regular grocery store, you're still going to be getting bright, quote-unquote, sun or vine-ripened tomatoes in December. And I don't know if you tried to grow tomatoes in December, it doesn't work out so well. It's very, very difficult. There's artificial growth factors in here. There's greenhousing. There's hydroponics. There's ways to make it happen. But the question is, should it happen? So as we do each week, what I'd love to just interlude and break for a few seconds away with is to get into our functional breathing exercise, because this is the time of season to be breathing, of course. The reason I say that is because anybody here suffer from the occasional Very intense left side pain about the ninth rib down. Anybody feel that ever? Little bit of like slight indication. Okay, so luckily you all don't know anything I'm talking about. If you know somebody, on the other hand, who sits there and all of a sudden, maybe they're the person who you've been trying to get to understand health a little bit better, and they're like, ow, I got this thing right here. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's smarts. Okay, and they just think it's a muscle spasm, and they're trying to rub it out, and they're like, okay, now it feels better. Now it feels better. A lot of times, this is the spleen acting up on the side of the stomach and actually causing major issues. And the spleen can get just as infected and just as swollen as you can with the gallbladder, as you can with the appendix, and the other different organelles of the body. And a lot of people don't take care of their spleen. So a lot of stomach cancers begin typically right there on the edge of the connective tissues between the spleen and the stomach. And one of the nice things is that as we do our breathing, when you move your diaphragm, you are pumping that whole area and it's activating your lymph. It's getting that system moving. We had our lymph discussion earlier this month about how to detox the lymph properly. This is one of those great techniques for actually making this happen. So if you're not working with, say, a yoga instructor, fitness instructor, a breathing coach, a chronic healer, if you're not coming to Thoughtful Thursdays often enough and you need to breathe more, then this is another good reason for you to know how to do this. So the way we take care of the breathing exercise is we do a very long inhalation. We take about 7 seconds of breathing in, holding our full lungs whenever we get the lungs filled, and then 8 seconds of breathing back out. All the way down to that point where you kind of want to feel like you have no breath left. That's where you get the most constriction with your diaphragm. And then it pops back open, gives you a nice big full set of lungs again. We'll do another 7 seconds in, 8 seconds for 30, and then we'll go into 30 seconds of normal breathing. But know that what you're doing here is you're taking care of the lymphatic system, and that is going to help your immune response and keep it to where if you've been getting any kind of swelling along the chin line or around the throat, anything to where you've had pains underneath the armpits and the groin areas, the idea is that your lymph's talking to you. It needs to move. It has to get fluid. And this is a great way to do that. So, for those who are finding us online, fantastic. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free. Reach me at brilliancenutrition@gmail.com. And if you'll follow along, like everyone else here, we'll take 7 seconds of breath in. Nice big full lungs. 8 seconds of breath out. All the way down to where nothing else is there. 7 seconds of breath in. You almost feel a little bit greedy when you do this. 8 seconds of breath out. All the way down to nothing. Fantastic. And then just 30 seconds of good breath, and we'll get on with the rest of the class. Fantastic.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what's the difference on the deep breathing into the nose, inhale, and then inhale until you can't breathe and blow it out? And then the other one that's added in, my health care, she told me to breathe into my mouth, fill up my stomach, load it up, and then. So what's the difference between the two?
So when you use the actual sinus cavities, not only are you cleansing the sinuses by breathing air around through them and opening up the sinuses, which a lot of times can get congested. So but you're also regulating the speed of how quickly the air goes into the body when you breathe through the nose. Then when you're able to hold and then expel through the mouth, you're getting a much larger volume of the material to go out of the mouth for detoxing. Things like carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, lots of different gases that are built up in the body that need to get away from us. When you're just doing circular breathing, circular breath, then the idea is you're really only exchanging kind of a small amount of air, and if you pull it in really deep and pull it and then let it out really deep, you can kind of see how most people would pass out. Like you can try that if you feel like it. You're sitting down, so go right ahead.
At home.
Or at home while you're trying to go to sleep at night, you can help yourself along with this little process.
Okay.
But the circular breathing, especially for what Jennifer of the Clearinghouse is focusing on,
yes.
is your musculature's control on how your body's actually allowing you to breathe. And that's a diagnostic. And it's one of those where she uses it to say, are you breathing deep into the abdomen? Are you breathing down here in the pelvic region? Are you breathing really shallow up here at the top of the ribs?
Exactly.
And where that is shows different controls, stressors, issues in life. And it helps her kind of go, oh, you're one of those people. And then she goes, breathe like this. And all of a sudden you're like, that feels really odd or funky because it's different muscles. And then you go, but now I feel really, really good. I finally am exercising the right way. So this is the same thing that when a guy actually gets done with doing one-handed push-ups for the first time in his life, thinks he's Superman. Because, you're finally doing it right. You're like, yes, I really did something that I thought was impossible. And that was finally have good breath control. But that's the big difference there.
Okay.
Both have their function. We can look at some opportunities if you're coming in here for Tim Newton's class and somatic and where he does the anasomatics. He talks about that whole releasing breath where you actually just let the valve, your mouth, open, and you actually just, and you let everything kind of do something that's a little different because you're not pushing in, and it's just a different release. And all of a sudden, it's a very unique feel because your head seems to decompress a little bit. Like it's just, and the breath is such a good control place. I mean, I love the different styles of breath with that.
Yeah.
And we're going to have Jennifer in probably November do a class at our office, and you'll get to learn a little bit more because she was only able to teach maybe one or two little pieces of her process while we're at the expo. So you'll get a better exposure for coming, and I'll let everybody know when that's coming around.
Okay.
So when it comes to autumn, pumpkin, I heard. What's the things that remind you of this season?
Oh.
What's the stuff that pulls it out of you? Squash.
Cinnamon.
Like cinnamon, yeah, there's a really good one.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody else? Nutmegs, cloves. I like the spices,
Yams.
right? Yams. Cardamom, yeah, that's a nice, Anybody actually think about, doing thistle tea?
No. Do what?
Thistle tea?
What is that?
Thistle teas. Thistle tea's really nice.
Milk thistle?
Milk thistles and things of that are a type of thistle. There's others, blessed thistle as well too. There's a few different ones. Let's see. Does anyone here think roasted lamb?
Oh, what is it? What is that? Is it? Oh, Japanese chestnut.
Oh, the water chestnut?
No, Japanese chestnut is small. It's sweeter than Italian chestnut. Italian chestnut is much better than American chestnut. And they do it with the little lava rocks and like
the
a
roasting
kettle.
on the open fire? Yeah.
No, it's in a black kettle. It's in Ala Moana Shopping Center in Hawaii in Shirakia. And it's like a black kettle, Japanese open black kettle, and then it goes around and you have all these really tiny lava pebbles, and then the chestnut is roasted, and it's smaller.
Yeah.
But it's sweeter, and it's just delicious.
On the beach.
Yeah. You got it?
Lamb, I've been eating lamb chops.
Lamb this time of year. Yeah, people enjoy lamb. A little bit of rabbit stew or something along those lines. I don't know. I love eating rabbit. It's just amazing. Because what we're talking about here, and of course the one thing I think a lot of people, peppermint. We forget about the whole peppermint season. This is the peppermint time. It's beautiful how this process comes in here. But it's unique to me because the autumn season brings out different energies in the body. And what I like to speak on is more to the idea of how you're treating yourself. Because to me, if you prep now, you're going to have a better spring. And a lot of people don't think that far in advance. I do, because the idea is that I've been doing it for a number of years, and I feel better thinking that way. So whenever it comes to my autumn, the idea is all I'm thinking is, well, in 6 months, we're going to be back to spring. And if I don't work on getting my body balanced now, I'm not going to be able to balance it then. And that's going to be a whole year of missed time. And I want to get away from that style of issue. I really want to feel like I'm doing something for myself. So I love the fact that this is the time when your body, Evelyn might be able to understand me on this one, really craves fat. Starts craving a little bit more fat.
I noticed you haven't had ghee in here for weeks.
And it's making you crave it more, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that way we can raise the price $5 and they'll be able to get what they're looking for. No, it's just a processing thing. But the idea is that fat nutrition now actually is what your body is saying, let's store this up for if we have a hard winter. And if we live in the salad and zero fat kind of world for too many years, this can do some damage. We can lose some functionality. Oils lubricate our body. If you're a person who's getting to this zone of time and you're actually experiencing a little bit of a joint breakdown, lack of flexibility, more stiffness when you wake up, I notice the big thing for me is I'm typically the guy who gets up 35 minutes before the sun so I can have 10 minutes to grab a cup of coffee, throw on some type of stupid clothes, and get down the road in order to sit somewhere and be happy in front of the sun as it pops up. I don't even try. Yeah, it was awesome. I know. It was awesome this morning. We've had such good weather, and it puts me in connection to this whole process that our whole planet's going through. And everyone around me is going through. They don't even know why. They can't feel it yet. And there's this sadness that happens after the equinox. Because now your brain, I think, even knows we're saying goodbye to the sun for 2016. And it's going to go that way, really, really far south. And it's going to get really, really low in the sky. And it's only going to be up for about 4 to 6 hours one day here soon. And it's sad. It does something different. The moment it swings away from the solstice and it comes back north, everyone's like, look at the fresh new spring, because we all know what's coming. We can feel it. We can get into it.
On the plus side, where some think that's crazy, but on the plus side, the positioning of the sunrise now, over the mountains behind us,
Right.
on my way taking the kids to school, I get to watch the sunrise 3 times.
3 times?
And my
Yeah.
son's like, you're crazy, Mom. I go, watch. We're watching it come up the mountain right here out the backyard. We go down the road, we get to watch it come up the next mountain.
Yeah.
We go down the next
Further down
we
the
get to watch it come up the third one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, how
Three
nice.
times we get to watch it come over
There's a
the
connection
mountain.
here.
It's
And
nice
I
and
love the
Right,
fact
and
that
then we
the body gets pulled in different ways. I don't know, but I'm going to say this. Does anybody actually find that they have less regularity towards the winter? When they get to this time of the year, things slow down. There's not much energy. The bowels can sometimes be moving in a weird place. Things can have an effect. It's definitely one of those places where by focusing on something like the oil that you're taking in, and even for, say, 30 days, actually taking in a little bit more, not only will you have some better energy, but there's other parts in your body that can finally start detoxing before we go into the hibernation of winter. And I really want people to bear it up. I really want people to kind of understand that the reason why you live in Southern California and all we have is palm trees, it doesn't give you enough of this mentality that the entire world is changing. Everything, and if you're anywhere else that have good deciduous leaves, you would see that there's something remarkably different going on, and it would help prepare you for the fact that maybe, just maybe, all of those salad fixings, all of these fresh fruits and vegetables that I've been munching on aren't going to be there for much longer. And it's time to kind of stock up on them real quick, to actually get them in your body. Start making some jellies, get some preserves, some marmalades, start doing some different techniques for keeping good things in the house that you're going to want a little later, and know that there's a relationship building. And if you take care of your body, you're going to have a much better spring detox, and things are going to clean out better. So if you're a person who, let's just say on the broad spectrum, I don't know if you're a person like myself who's concerned about things like heavy metals and radiation in terms of toxicity, if you don't prep the body now, when the sun comes back the other direction, we get into a zone where the body doesn't want to detox because you really weren't taking care of it today and during these winter months. And now all of a sudden you expect it to want to let go of material, and you're not in the proper place. So that's where I've discovered that this process is a great way of setting up the system so that you have a much more successful spring. And if you're a person who, and I don't know, maybe I've got some, I'll turn around for a few seconds. Is there anybody here who would actually like to lose weight in the next year or anything with health goals? Yeah. So the process of being able to do that in spring and summer actually starts now. And most people, that's where they end up feeling so frustrated come March, April, May, and they wonder why bikini season eluded them again. And they don't know how to get this body working for them. It's because they didn't take care of what they needed at this phase and this time. And I really want to help take that up, make that simple. It's really, to me, an amazing spot. We're given the story of the ants and the grasshopper. Everybody know the story of the ants and the grasshopper? Right?
No.
Yeah. No, not really? Okay. So, we all know what ants do, right? Ants work, grab as much as they possibly can,
Yes.
use everything they possibly can, take care of the whole group and the collective as much as possible,
Exactly.
and then you have these really big stinking grasshoppers that just love to think that it's never going to be any better than it is right now. This is obviously the most important, and they're just soaking up the sun, thinking life is going to always be fantastic until the very first snow comes in, and obviously Mr. Ant's perfectly happy down on the ground, enough supplies for the rest of the year, and then some. Mr. Grasshopper freezes it up on top, and we all get to have a laugh. But so the story of the ant and the grasshopper gives me a way of kind of going back into the body and saying this, is that your immune system does this as well too. Your immune system, if anybody caught like a little bit of something, not a heavy cold, but maybe just had a little scratch in the last couple of weeks, or maybe had a little sinus congestion. Nothing that got you too down, but it's definitely something. It shows that, again, things are moving. The body's kind of doing things a little different. We know what's coming, so the body's trying to bring us back into a zone of self-protection. We drain a little bit out of the sinus cavity. We like I say, we have changes in the body. The little ants, the immune system is getting ready to do the long soldiering of the winter to keep you free from the dreaded flu season, or whatever we're going to call it this year. Zika season, swine flu season, I don't know. The big thing here is that, are you paying attention? Do you feel what's happening? Is there a change that you're not paying attention to because you think, oh, it'll be all right. I'll get to it later. And you're putting something off. And this can be anything from the idea of hair loss, bowel reaction, skin irritations. The idea is something in the body can be telling you there's an issue. And all of a sudden you're like, so what should I be focusing on? Because I've got 6 months of downtime, really. I think of it that way. Energy kind of drains. You don't really want to go out all the time. You stay home a little more. Rain is going to happen here soon, and no one should drive at all in Southern California when it rains. You guys are crazy. You have to at least show that you have an out-of-state license at one point in time in order to be on the freeway, the way I see it. But there's an issue here where we are trying to take a look at the long haul and know that if you're really concerned about health, it's not just going to happen in the 2 or 3 months before summer next year for you to actually feel better. It's really, really important. And your body organs are working, doing their processing all year long, and you're trying to take care of them. So if you can really start to alter routines, who here actually does try to work less and stay home more during the December, right? The lowest energy month of the year. And I see a lot of people who are still up at 4 o'clock in the morning. They're still on the freeway 5 hours a day. They're still running 120 miles an hour trying to get through life. And they wonder why they're so stinking tired and their body's falling apart. This is, to me, a great relationship to finally say, you know what, I'm going to slow down a little bit. I deserve some time. I can actually take a moment and breathe, and I can get myself back into the game here. So Colin was so beautiful to actually have something that just perfectly captures what I'm talking about. This is the golden milk process. I don't know if he's got more samples up here. I thought he had maybe a few more. But before you take off, really taste this. I mean, like, minus the ghee. But the idea is that really taste this and understand that all the herbs that you were talking about, all these great ways of controlling mood and balancing the digestive tract and being antiviral, antimicrobial, they're all here. And this is something to where instead of making that green drink or smoothie, you can alter your game plan during the winter to be much more restorative, to be more anti-inflammatory, instead of always focusing on being detoxified. And if you do that properly, next year your body will be like, I can't wait to get rid of this stuff. I can't wait to start detoxing. And I can't wait to get my system into a little bit more health. Maybe by that time, the skin's a little bit more plump. You got a little more collagen. Do you know on average, the weight ratio from midsummer to midwinter for most native tribes is 20 to 25 plus minus pounds? That they would actually fluctuate that much through a year, and they didn't get upset at themselves. They weren't mad that they gained a little bit during the winter.
I think we should fur up too. I don't see
Fur up.
shaving our legs.
That's a t-shirt.
They didn't have scales, though.
That's true. They didn't have scales. But the difference was that they would stand next to the buffalo and go, does this buffalo make me look fat or do I make the buffalo look fat? That's where we would kind of see the difference. But this type of drink, this type of concoction is exactly what I'm speaking about when it comes to being able to get autumn represented in your life, getting winter happening for you. And it's because the environment, when it starts to really signify that autumn is.
I'm not going to leave the last one.
What exactly?
I was going to say, I'll be on the phone a little later.
Sorry. Yeah, old maid.
If I make it, it's okay.
Thank you. That was good.
The relationship here is that now the body's actually going to walk around with the signal that something's changed. Something's different. And I love that. The recipes we were talking about. So what I've done is in the month of October, I'm actually very interested in giving people kind of a crash course in seasonal eating. Now this process has taken me about 7 years, somewhere between 6 to 8 years, to where I think I feel like I've mastered it. To where I feel like I actually automatically do it. I don't even think about it anymore. I don't have to get a book out. I don't change things up. I'm fixing completely different foods right now. And this is where I think it's funny, is because a lot of people wouldn't think, but I don't do much spirulina during the summer. Do you want to know why?
Why?
It's a little too detoxifying, and I have other things like moringa or barley or other grasses that's their time of year. And I think of even when you look at the migratory patterns of especially whales, they move really heavy to go to breeding grounds towards the area where spirulina and all the tiny little and all the animals that they actually like are in other locations. And they move over, and it's one of the few things I found about going to Hawaii in December. It's a very different place. Most people love to go there in the summer. It's beautiful in December, January. I just love that turnover. And when you see the whales do their migration, you understand that they've got something on their minds as well too. They know that there's something different about how. I don't think it's truthfully just the cold. I don't think they love to come south because, like us, they want to be snowbirds. I think they really know food's on the move. Food's better right now. Things like spirulina all of a sudden come back into my life a little bit stronger, and I start using it more frequently. So it's this type of stuff that I want people to kind of hear or understand or think about. To where in the autumn program, the reset there, it gives them some of the indications that there's actually a change that needs to happen. And if they just keep making the same drinks, the same smoothies, fixing the same dinner, same lunch, same breakfast as what they did 3 months ago, then I don't think they're really doing their health a lot of service. I think they're actually maybe shortchanging their bodies a little bit. And this can have a big effect on how they feel. Throw the scale away. It doesn't make you happy anyways. And just live happily, comfortably, and enjoy life as much as possible. Drinks like this make people happy. So it's really great because what I'm actually trying to offer here is just a concept where by email and through contact by the electronic means, being in classes like this through October, you're going to learn some of these basic relationships that I've been able to understand about myself and how I think this will impart upon individuals. So because there's not a lot of heat from the sun, things like clove and cinnamon and turmeric, heating foods, and even the way you cook your foods, roasting your vegetables, boiling things like squash instead of actually just sauteing or steaming. There's a different energy there. It does something different to the foods. It actually changes the way it feels. So yes, I do like the crispy little top to my sweet potatoes from putting them in the oven and having a little bit of coconut palm sugar or coconut milk powder, put on top of them. It's pretty stinking delicious. Tastes kind of like a s'mores when you're a little bit backwards. But there's a relationship that I would love for people to understand that maybe it's time to pull away some things, and the environment will support you for sleeping 12 hours a day. So if you're a person who likes to do that, might as well get in the time whenever it actually makes sense instead of waiting till the mid of summer and being so tired, so worn out, so lethargic because you didn't rest in December, you didn't rest in January. How are you supposed to be active during July and August when you want to be? And I love that relationship. I love this process. So I'm really interested in helping people kind of move through this whole thing. I love switching over. As much as coconut oil is such a great relationship for health, it's funny because during this time of year, sunflower oil, because it represents the big bright yellow of the sun during summer, it does something for me. It's a little different. So there's a lot of great, handles here. I like the idea of being a little bit more probiotic focused because obviously they're going to help protect me from viral compounds, bacteria, different things that I don't want to be around in my body. So between now and starting next Tuesday, I believe it's next Tuesday, the idea is I want people to let me know if there's a way that I can be helpful and get you to see how these little relationships can help and bring you to a little bit of a better understanding about your health, then it's time to kind of learn some of this stuff and start to work it through. So it really helps me impart some of this knowledge that I don't share too often because it is kind of my own personal game, and that way you can kind of learn some details, some positive behaviors, and maybe even go, oh, that's why that didn't feel right. I kept telling myself that was the wrong recipe to do or whatever, but I just didn't know. I didn't know I should switch around. I didn't know I should change it over. I didn't know that I should go from say like ginger to astragalus during this time of the year, or that I should actually be adding things less shallots and onions and more to the idea of garlic. It's very unique little pieces by this within 1 month teaching and learning this process. It'll help everybody in your family, anybody who you can speak to. Oh yeah, we're doing this thing a little differently this year. And that way you can bring the right material sometimes even to Thanksgiving for other people and go, oh, you're eating what? We're having Waldorf salad with raisins and all these great. No. We got to be doing more of the goulash type of stuff. We got to be having some beets in here. Where's the beets when it comes to the wintering phase for our lives and for our bodies? So it really gets a great relationship back up. And after you work through this process, it will balance for you just the same. And I'm not going to say that I know exactly how to live it on your system, but the idea is that here's some guidance factors and here's some reasons why to maybe mix it up a little bit and try something different. And that way you can go forward and understand that if this month you're not actually loading the vitamin C in, you're a little less likely to have a good cold and flu season versus that waiting until you get your first respiratory infection in December, January, and then starting to actually use vitamin C products. So it's a nice relationship to understand how we keep our health, and then we can go forward and try to understand how to help others keep their health and just keep this process of learning moving forward. So if you're interested, feel free. Either drop your email this evening, let me know. I'll be in contact with everybody over the weekend, getting things started, getting things set up. There'll be a private Facebook group that'll actually allow people to kind of talk and share and go through the whole process. And that way you can kind of see and understand what you're looking for and then trying to benefit the rest of your family, your body for the rest of the next year and starting to reprogram things. So I'll probably do a guided month of detoxification and reset program in either March or April of next year, kind of in the opposite direction, and see how it kind of goes and wanes one direction, and then it comes back and goes the other direction. So just like what we see in the environment, the idea is we kind of have to wobble just a little bit and see how everything kind of switches and changes, and then you can feel much better about controlling your health. So it gives you a lot of power, gives you a lot of know-how, instead of just understanding, yes, everything on these shelves are amazing, but they actually can be even more amazing used in the exact right way and to help you understand your body. So if you have any questions, feel free, let me know, because this is one of those great places where I love to give details and let people understand how things are going to be. If there's anything more specific, if you came here and you actually have a very particular question, like why marshmallows are the way they are, then that's a very interesting question. We can work on that one too. But there's a wonderful relationship here. So let me know if there's anything I can do for you. If you're looking to pick anything up, we get stocked up on the raw relation products tonight. Make sure you grab these and put them on the counter first so they can be rang up as we're talking and moving around and going through the rest of the evening. And for people who are online, if you're interested and you actually got something out of this evening not being here, but you're still wanting to join the program, feel free to email me, brilliancenutrition@gmail.com, and make sure you put the notation in there, Autumn Reset Program, and that'll help me help you go through the process, and we'll be able to become better friends in October. So I wish everybody the best. I hope you have a great weekend, and if there's anything I can do, feel free, let me know. Yes?
I have a question. How do you make a 93-year-old woman put on weight? She's skinny, she doesn't have much muscles, and her son is wanting to, it's not, to me, it's not putting on weight. She needs to put on muscle.
Yeah.
So he feeds her the same thing over. I mean, he's got a terrific smoothie. And then the omelet, but it's that same thing over. I mean, he's incorporated coconut oil.
Okay.
And her skin, I mean, having worked with her for over 2 months, when I first started with her, dry and everything, her skin, I mean, and then he's incorporated that into cooking. And then when I feed her, I take a teaspoon of coconut oil and then,
Makes sense.
so and she doesn't have, what do you call it, she no longer has constipation.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, because
Now you got the oils in there.
yes, and then I would always do a slight massage, or sometimes if she's fully awake, then we'll do, I'll be a little more vigorous on it and do exercise. But his overkill is on trying to have her put on weight, meaning really more muscle. But she's just, like saying, her age.
Yeah. It's interesting because having the muscles atrophy to that point, there is a couple great suggestions. The two that I would highly recommend are things like goji berry for the HGH factor and the ability to actually increase proficiency for protein to be absorbed to the muscle fibers.
Okay.
The other food that I would highly recommend is actually either moringa, plant protein, really good multi-mineral, going to help be something that you can mix in if you're already doing a shake or a smoothie, or you can give it to her like a shot of wheatgrass. Not only will it help constipation, digestion, but it will be something that will allow for better calcium absorption, better magnesium absorption. It's a really good enhancement for the human body. Now, that being said, if you're not going to be active, your body's not going to be reactive in giving some muscle. And even if all that happens while you're there with her and there's time, not being a part of her care team is, I'm not wanting to step on anybody. So talk to the people who are around you.
She has nothing because the doctor, last year when she failed and she had a heart attack and then she broke what was it, femur or something like that.
Right.
So,
at least what you can do is connect to the bed or to some sort of device, or even help her hold one of those elastic style bands, and at least have her do some type of resistance training against gentle pressure. You can do this with a hand towel. You don't have to buy anything special. I just would not recommend like a bungee cord because they're not very safe or something like that. But I would recommend a physical therapy elastic style inner tube kind of band and have it be something where you can have her push her leg out against the band and use it to get some length, some strength back up in the femur and the quads. And if you can get her to do a little bit of the, like kickboxing style kind of punch thing, just a few times a day at first. But work it up to where you can see you're doing, 10 and then 20 and then 30, and then you can get a thicker band and actually have her start back at 1 and 2 and just see, because I would hate for her spirit to be so strong, her body to be so frail that she feels the way she feels. And there's a difference in relationship there when you can actually have some musculature about you and just be mobile a little bit more, sitting up on your own and feeling comfortable and not having your spine just, be so wobbly about you. But you can see that the resistance bands are something that she could do on her own if she is cognizant. If not, then you can work it through with her. And that way, things like goji berry, moringa are great. Things like colostrum and the whey proteins, again, are great ways to just get some good nutrition in and not require a whole exhausting process.
Exactly.
But then there has to be some type of movement, or else your body won't put out the factors in order to grow the muscles.
And see what it is that he really did a good job when he came out of the hospital last year. And he worked on it, smoothies and everything.
Okay.
But personally, for me, I feel that her spirit, that she just wants to sleep. She just wants to relax. She doesn't want to put any more energy. She's 93 years old. And she just is ready to, okay. But the son is holding her back.
Yeah.
Because I said,
That's a different
who in
issue.
the family? I said, who in the family wanted her till Christmas? And I said, do you want to stay along for Christmas? She said, yes. I said, okay, she said already. And then, you know how we work, and then, it's always will, but, her will. And I said, you're selfish because you're holding her back.
Yeah.
And she sleeps all the time, and you want me to, and I can't. I don't have the heart to just pick her up and then put her in her, and then bring her to the kitchen and then feed her. And he wants to schedule her, and I can sense her energy, I can feel her spirit.
Yeah.
When she's we're happy, and I go for her biorhythm versus his mechanical schedule, like, we got to keep her alive. So, so what it is I sense, and she has all those things, been there, done that. And, no physical therapist, the doctor says, okay, we can't do anything for her. But,
yeah, you can do simple
but
things.
yeah, I can do that, but, it's like, okay, that's the best I can do. But her muscles, it's just like,
Yeah, so see what you can do to just give some better options. You know a lot from being here, and there's some great ways of allowing the body to be more functional and healthier. Hi, good evening.
I like that.
The actual tonic bar is closed.
Is it?
Yep, we're doing the class.
Closed?
6.
6? Okay.
Yes,
Thanks.
but come back tomorrow.
Thanks.
So I have one more question. So, why is she not gaining weight? Is because she's not able to absorb the protein and whatever calcium and nutrients that is being fed to her? Because his smoothie is outstanding.
Yeah, well, again, your body will do everything it can to support you in order to deal with stress. If you're laying there, then the most important, you don't have the stress, and the body won't waste the time and the energy on building something that you're not going to use.
Yeah.
So there has to be some impetus. And that relationship is one where if she doesn't want to move, she's not going to build muscle.
No.
So, like I said,
she's tired. She's had her life. She just wants to relax and be, just.
She can do that with some bands too.
Yeah. I know I'm doing it for her. It's like, okay.
See how it goes. But yeah.
So is that the same
Care as
thing?
much as you can.
Is that same? Yes, I do. Is that the same thing then for a 2-year-old? As he's so skinny, but he eats.
No.
So what do you do for a 2-year-old that is so skinny?
No.
But
They know their bodies far better than any person on the planet. And the thing is I'm tired of this whole idea that this kid has to be this weight at this time to be, and that's where if it's not on the growth chart, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
No. We mess things up so fast, so quick. Over absorption of caloric intake at this age, we put them on a diabetic path from from right now forward. No. 2-year-olds are 2-year-olds. Let them be. As long as they're maturing and they're able to walk and they're not
Yes.
stumbling over the
It's
feet
just so
because they
skinny for his.
let him be skinny. Let him be
Okay,
happy.
right.
Let him
But
be
he
happy.
eats a lot.
Yeah, let them be happy.
Okay.
They got metabolisms like steam engines. Let them go.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, it sounds to me like he's got an overactive thyroid, and as long as you
Don't diagnose people who aren't sick.
I don't. No, what I'm saying is that, and then I just said, just continue to feed him and don't worry about it.
don't
That's what
worry
I
about
said. Yeah. I wish he was like, hey,
Yeah.
got a great thyroid, is working fine. And he's
Fantastic.
feeding him. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining,
Thanks,
and
Joe.
we hope that you have a great holiday season. We'll be doing, obviously, the Thoughtful Thursdays here. I do have a really good talk coming up at Artisan's Palette, which is focused on how to survive the sugar-filled holidays next 2 Tuesdays from now. So a little different program there, a little different attitude, but it's definitely one where it goes right along with this idea of the autumn detox, and it's going to be a part of that program if you're looking to join. So send me your emails. If you know somebody who's interested, you talk to them over the weekend, have them contact me. Love to support in the best ways possible. So have a great night, everybody. Enjoy. Drive safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question off the record. My roommate and I, like last week,